Cheers to a good episode.
Cheers.
Oh, I guess that's that Texas stuff.
Is that Texas or Maryland? We good in Maryland.
I think it's a Texas thing too, because all the Texas people I know do it.
Probably worldwide.
Like, I just go, cheers.
Exactly.
Mic check.
1, 2, 3, 4.
What's good, y'all? Welcome to another episode of the Transplant. As you can see, here with me, your boy Chen, and I got some illustrious guests with me today. So if you guys could just tell the audience your name and then let them know where they can find you, like your Instagram or social media that you have.
So my name is Chappelle Moorhead, and you can find me on Instagram at Legally Crohn's or at Selena Chappelle.
Okay, so now, before we continue, because I spelled Crohn's wrong.
Oh,
all the
yeah.
way wrong. So can you spell it? I was and the worst part is she literally gave it to me spelled out, and I still spelled it wrong. Can you please spell it for the viewers?
Yes, so it's the whole thing is LEGALLYCROHNS.
There it is.
Mm-hmm.
All right, go ahead.
Angela Frazier, and my Instagram is AngelaNicole_F.
Nice. All right, so we're here with another episode, and this one's really, really special and near and dear to me because of what we're going to be talking about today. These ladies are here to discuss health, both mental and physical health. So can you just give a little background as far as what your social media presence is and kind of how you got started with that?
Okay, so basically on social media, I pretty much discuss Crohn's disease, and I like to kind of tie in the correlation between Crohn's disease and mental health, just because they kind of go hand in hand. And I got started with it because I have Crohn's disease. I've been suffering from Crohn's disease since 2004, so it's been a real long journey, and yeah, that's pretty much.
Nice. What about you, Angela?
My social media presence really revolves around mental health awareness and education. I started talking about mental health. It's actually coming up on a year that I started my mental health Mondays. So January, like the end of January will be a year. But I started to really dive deep into mental health in 2016 when I lost my mom to suicide.
Gotcha. So you actually kind of just went to my next one. So, and I know this is probably a real difficult subject to talk about, but what exactly, made you decide, okay, I've dealt with this tragedy, and I'm going to use it and flip it and make it something productive? Because I feel like a lot of people, when they go through something like that, they just kind of go into deep depressions and, they never come out. So, but you've really flipped it and turned it around to really help other people. Yeah. So like, what kind of drove you to do that?
Thank you. Man, I would just say I really live by the philosophy of like, you have to play the hand that you're dealt. Yeah. When my mom had suffered from mental health issues, being involved in a domestic violence relationship, and just all those things that correlate, having lupus, a chronic illness, and it was just something that she just struggled with. And so when I got that initial call that she had taken her life, it was hard to believe. I was just getting ready to transition to move to Houston. Mm-hmm. I was moving, and it happened in April 2016. I moved here in August 2016 to get my master's in public health. My initial track was global health. Like, I knew I wanted to go and help people in other countries, and I love to travel. But when that happened, I just felt like there is something much bigger to talk about, especially in the Black community. So I felt like just diving into mental health was really important.
No, that makes sense. So what about you? I know you said you were diagnosed in 2004. Mm-hmm. So when exactly did you get started with promoting it on social media and just kind of really getting the word out there about Crohn's disease and living with it?
On social media, I would say like last year I started, like maybe the beginning of last year, kind of. Like the beginning of last year. Okay. But prior to that, I did, like, anytime I can talk to anybody about it, I like to talk about it, just because it's something that not a lot of people understand or not a lot of people know about. And
I couldn't even spell it. So.
Right, exactly. And we like to call it call it invisible disease. So I don't like lose my hair, or it doesn't show up on my skin, or you don't really know unless you like live with me or you see me when I can't get out of bed or when I'm hurting or when I'm in pain.
Yeah.
And so because of that, I feel like it's kind of like looked as like not as bad, and so I like to just kind of educate people on what it is, and so I talk about it anytime I get the chance to, just because I like to talk about it. And then I would say like last year, like the beginning of last year is when I started to get on social media a little bit and want to like talk more and push it that way.
So you were really open about it as soon as you got the diagnosis?
No.
Oh, okay.
No. When I got the diagnosis, I was only 14. I was about I think I was 14.
Okay.
Yeah. So I wasn't open about it. My friends knew about it at school because I got sick a lot and I missed a lot of school. But I was some people was kind of mean, and like people would say I was anorexic, and like, so I went through that a little bit. I guess you could say kind of bullying, but I didn't get bullied because I don't play that. Yeah. But I guess you could say it was a form of bullying just because people would like see that I was changing. So I wasn't as open about it. Like I said, my friends knew about it, and then my basketball coach knew about it. As I got older is when I started to talk more about it. So I would say in high school a little bit, I would be a little bit more open, but really like college, I would say, is when because college, I feel like I needed to talk about it because I needed help from other people, like to get through school and things like that. And so I feel like I needed to talk about it more so.
Gotcha. So for people who don't know, what are some of the symptoms, or what's the actual like baseline of Crohn's disease? Like, how does it actually affect your body and just your day-to-day life?
So it's basically, Crohn's disease can be anywhere in your digestive system, between your mouth all the way down to your anus. So where mine is at is where my small intestines and my large intestines connect, and the area is called the ileum. And so so Crohn's disease is like very unique to each person. So it's literally like one thing can affect someone this way, one thing you eat could be this way. It's really weird. It's very unique to the person. For me, some of the things and some of the common things that people with Crohn's disease experience is like internal bleeding, and that's like the worst. Or like just like upset stomach, like, but not just upset stomach, it's like basically so for me, my intestines are getting inflamed, so they swell up, and when something swell up, it closes.
Right.
So food doesn't like digest and things like that, and it's just a lot of pain, and
Gotcha. Okay, so as far as you kind of talk about your day-to-day life, and I was reading one of your posts, and you get really detailed as far as like some of the things that happen to you, and what kind of responses do you get from people as far as like, are they sympathetic or empathetic, or are they just kind of learning when you post those type of things? Because for me, I learned a lot just because you can see somebody, like I see you now, and you look 100% healthy. I would never guess that you had any type of chronic illness or even a cold, So, and then, you have a bright smile. So I'll think that everything is going great. And you just kind of discuss about, behind that smile and, behind, that initial, I guess, facade, what's actually going on. So, how do people respond to that when you kind of let them know, like, hey, you might have seen me today and you probably thought everything was great, but it really wasn't. So, like, what's the response to that?
Some people are shocked, but on social media, I think the following that I have is other people who are dealing with either Crohn's disease or like another type of inflammatory bowel disease or autoimmune disease. So a lot of times like they will message me, like DM me and tell me like what they're going through, and just like thank me for like raising awareness and sharing. And like some people will tell me that they haven't reached that point where they're comfortable enough to tell other people, but they'll tell me certain things. And so it's just really just people thanking me a lot. And people like telling me how brave I am. And then also like when I post about how I became an attorney throughout all of this, a lot of people are just like, oh my God, all I want to do is, tell me their dreams, and they're like, but I can't do it, and you make me feel like I can do it. And so I get a lot of that, and that's like what makes me feel like really good.
That's what's up. By the way, shout out to her. You just passed the bar this That's great. And I can definitely see that, because kind of in similar fashion, I feel like when people get diagnosed with chronic diseases, it also kind of drives people into sometimes a depression or just kind of a hole because you feel like, I guess, maybe you're not whole or you can't live your life the way that you have been living your life. So it can kind of really affect you. So I can definitely see how, that brings a support system. So
that's what I heard.
Yeah, that's what I've learned along the way for sure. Because prior to knowing Chappelle, I didn't know anything about Crohn's. I hadn't heard about Crohn's. But moving here the same year, the same month, becoming best friends and being sorority sisters, we've been able to support each other in our different causes. So I've definitely learned that with Crohn's disease, it may not look like she's ill, or she may walk, do certain things and up and powering through a law school, but having flare-ups, going to the hospital, being hospitalized for days, but literally still having homework in front of her and still passing tests.
There's more power to you. This people have way less obstacles and still can't get it done. So that makes sense. So now, for you, because I know you focus a lot on mental health, right? And I really appreciate that because I've been following you for a while, and I feel like everyone kind of goes through their mental issues, whether, anything can kind of strike a depression or, at least just feeling sad for a long time or just not being in the right space or, not feeling like yourself, whether it's just being too stressed, things of that nature. So, but where do you get your content from, and how do you choose what you want to post?
This is a good one. So just like people follow Chappelle for Crohn's, I follow a lot of people, a lot of hashtags around mental health and wellness and things of that sort. Some content I develop. Originally, I had posted someone else's content that was things to not say to someone who was experiencing a mental health crisis. A lot of the feedback I got was, well, then what do we say? Because the things that some people say, they I thought that was helpful.
Right.
So that kind of launched me into well, let me start developing some stuff myself. So I would say following other people, developing things. And then I tend to, I do two different things. I think about the seasons that it is. So I just posted something around how grief affects the body. I just posted something recently around just, supporting those who have lost someone during this holiday season, because the holidays tend to be, tougher on people who may not have their mom, may not have their dad, may have lost a sibling and so forth. And then I'm going to be honest, I check in with friends like Chappelle. I have a good core group of girlfriends that I typically narrow down 3, and then I usually send it out and say, I can't decide. You decide. And then I really, it's something I pray over too, because the ultimate goal is for it to really empower and encourage people who are dealing with mental health issues, or to help them support those in their lives who are dealing with mental health.
Gotcha. No, that's really dope. So one thing that I feel like you guys have in common is just kind of the strength and the ability to kind of know yourselves and to not be afraid to share really sensitive information. I feel like most people won't share or feel uncomfortable sharing. What barriers or what hurdles do you have to cross, or were you just kind of, I know you kind of talked about how you were you weren't as open initially, but what does it still give you butterflies in your stomach, or when you're kind of putting yourself out there like that? And is there anything that you still won't talk about?
I would say I wouldn't say there's anything that I can think that I wouldn't talk about, just because I feel like the things that we have on the inside is someone else can relate to it. So I feel like almost anything. I mean, I feel like one of the toughest things to talk about is suicidal ideation. That I was nervous around really starting to talk mental health for the first year, because my mom was in an abusive relationship the last year of her life, ultimately taking her own life. But for the first year of losing my mom, from about 2016 to 2017, I only discussed the domestic violence that she encountered. And then I had someone reach out to me that, because I was going to suicide support groups for people who've lost someone from suicide, and the leader wrote me, and she said, you send a very powerful message around domestic violence, but I don't see you really talking about the way your mom ultimately lost her life. And I sat back and was like, dang, I'm embarrassed. I'm embarrassed the way that she took her life. I'm ashamed of it, but I shouldn't be, because I'm not alone in knowing someone who struggles with mental health, struggling with it myself. And so then it made me change my approach to it. And I was like, if I'm gonna tell my mom's story, then I gotta tell it all. And I feel like that has been the most rewarding and most encouraging to other people.
No, that's great. Was that somebody that you were close to who said that to you, or just a random person?
No, it was the leader of the support group that I was going to. But I mean, I've seen her like once a month. It wasn't even like a consistent counselor or anything of that sort. So when she sent me that message, I was like, and it was really thought out how she wrote it, because it was really like, hey, you are really powerful with your words and your outreach, and you are bringing a lot of awareness to domestic violence, which is great, because that is a part of my mom's story, and so naturally a part of my story seeing it. But there is a really tough topic in there that you're not discussing, and like so. She just encouraged me to share her story in full.
I got you. Yeah. That makes sense. Yeah. So, I know kind of you guys are really kind of dealing with, I guess, the two major parts of the body as far as mental health and physical health. But how do you guys see the two kind of intertwining? Or do you think they intertwine more than people kind of suggest, or less? Is it better to kind of segment them, or should you kind of address them all together? What is your experience or your opinion on that?
They intertwine all the way together. Okay. They intertwine all the way together. And I think that's something that brought me and Angela so close. Like, when we met when she was moving here. We were both moving here at the same time, and she was going through everything with her mom. And we just kind of, I don't know, it was like weird. We're like the same person.
Yeah,
I don't know.
The actual same person.
Yeah, it's really creepy. It's really weird. But I think that me personally, I struggled a lot with like mental health and things like that, where there's been multiple times I had to call her and she had to talk me off of a ledge. I mean, it's just because sometimes when your body is just not working, or your body is just like not doing what it's supposed to do, it's just kind of almost like you're tired. Like I said, I've been dealing with this since I was 14 years old. I'm 29 years old now. And so at a certain point, when you've taken so many medications and you've done so many things and you're still just getting sick, it starts messing with you mentally. And so I can't even explain how much it intertwines, but it definitely intertwines. And that's why I really want to like help people to understand that it's not just physically, it's mentally as well. And then especially when some people don't get it, like your family and stuff, my family like supports me. My family's been supportive since day one. But I know people who reach out to me on social media who say that their family don't support them, or that their family think they're faking, or they think they're being dramatic and things like that, because once again, you don't see it, Right. And so it intertwines all the way. Mm-hmm.
That's cool. Yeah. So what about you? When you were going through like your mental issues, did you find that it kind of affected your physical health as well?
I would definitely say that they relate. I mean, even with the status I just recently posted around how grief affects the body. Like, grief is that, you're dealing with your mental health is affected, your emotional health is affected, but it is affecting the physical, the loss of appetite or increased appetite, the fatigue, the nausea. There's so many things that I feel like definitely, go hand in hand when it comes to that physical and that mental.
That makes sense. So now, you guys both mentioned moving here to Houston. So the name of the podcast is The Transplant. And, I'm new. I'm only a year out here, from the DMV area. So where did you guys move from, and what made you guys move out here, or what was the decision maker, the driver of that?
So I'm originally from California. Okay. From California, I moved to Las Vegas for 4 years. I went to undergrad there, and I moved there because my brother was there. Okay. And then from there, I moved here for law school. For some reason, I just wanted to move to Houston. It was really weird. I had never been here. Really? I just wanted to move to Houston. No family. I literally just was like, Houston sounds amazing. I want to move to Houston. Oh, wow. It was really crazy. I packed up my little Nissan Sentra with whatever I could pack, anything I couldn't fit in my car. I left it in Vegas, and I sold a few things, and I just moved to Houston, and I loved it here.
And it works. It's history ever since.
Yes.
That's cool. Yeah. What about you?
It's almost the same story. I'm from Portland, Oregon. Moved to Vegas. Lived there for about 4 years. Oh, wow. So I did high school in Vegas. Then I ended up moving back to Oregon. But I just decided that I wanted to move somewhere again. I hadn't been to Houston. I started applying to master's programs. I knew that I learned that we have the biggest medical center in the nation, and so I ended up applying to UT Health. Got into the program, and it was just really a coincidence that everything kind of played out. Like I said, my mom passed in April. In June, I went back to Vegas to go clean out everything and kind of get ready for the move in August. And it just so happened that we were connected through one of our shorty sisters. It was one of the things where someone knew, like, hey, I was in town, I just lost my mom. They said, oh, let me get your shorty sisters together. So they got us together, and then it ended up being that we were both moving to Houston the same time with like the very similar story. So so again, I packed up my Honda from Oregon and drove all the way on down. Jeez. That baby pushed the whole way and it's still kicking with me. So
how long of a drive is that?
Well, it was from Portland to Vegas was 16 hours, and then from Vegas to Houston was 22.
Man, and then so you came from Vegas to here, but what part of California did you move to Vegas from?
Oakland, California.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Nice. So that's cool. So I know that you guys also do like public events, and you guys are on panels and things of that nature. Do you guys have any events or anything coming up that you guys would like to tell people to come out to?
I wish I could say that I did, but one just got rescheduled, so I can't even give a date for it. I can't even give a date for it. But I do have an association called Sisters in Public Health, and we are launching a scholarship starting in the spring. It'll launch, and it will be open to master's students for MPH or doctorate level.
Nice. That's what's up.
Yeah, we have quarterly events for that. Thank you.
Perfect. So we'll keep you guys posted on that for sure. You have anything that you would like to tell people about?
I do not now. I'm just trying to, since I just passed the bar, obviously, I'm really just trying to break into getting in the habit of being an attorney. Then once I get that going a little bit more, then I'm trying to.
Man, that's great. Man, I really appreciate you guys coming here, being on the podcast with me. Before you guys go, please just state your social media, any website or anywhere that people can find you, so that they can use all the important information that you guys have for them.
So again, on Instagram, at Legally Crohn's, LEGALLYCROHNS.
And I'm Angela Frazier. You can find me on Instagram at AngelaNicole_F, or my website, AngelaNicoleFrazier.com.
Yes, definitely check it out. Like I said, I've been following them. They have amazing posts. Like, whether if you have Crohn's or not, you're gonna be inspired. Whether you have dealing with mental issues or not, you probably know somebody who is dealing with them. And when you follow, you can figure out, see what some of the signs are and see how to deal with it. So definitely follow them.
Yes, thank you for having us.
Thank you. No problem. So that's it for this episode. We'll be back with another one. Stay tuned.
That's a cop, cause I think fake friends might be playing close angle. Bitch, yo, what's your angle? Chilling with my baby, need some higher than